Welcome to Doha, the capital of Qatar, for match day 7 in the AFC Champions League Elite, as Al Duhail, the home side, take on Sharjah of the United Arab Emirates. As you can see on your screen, it is very tight for both of these sides in their bid to finish in the top 8. They are both just retaining their places in the top 8, which will enable them to make it through to the round of 16 should they manage to be there when the league phase of this competition ends next week. So a big match for both these sides, who come into the game in inconsistent, indifferent form. Al Duhail not flying in the league by any stretch of the imagination. They sit 7th out of 12, and well, their opponents today, very little to separate them as well in the league. 9th, but it's in the Champions League Elite where it's even harder to separate these two teams, because they've got identical records. Played 6, won 2, and lost 3. 4 teams already through from the Western Zone. Al Hilal, Tractor, Al Ali and Al Wada having confirmed their tickets before the winter break. And so it leaves the sides below them and battling for the other 4 slots available, including Al Duhail and Sharjah, 2 of 7 teams eyeing those 4 possibilities still available in the 12-team league. And of course, by meeting today, Al Duhail and Sharjah offer the very real possibility of taking points off one another, of course, and therefore giving a chance to the teams below them, the likes of Al Gharafa and Al Sadd, to make up some ground. So after near 2 months without any action, the Champions League Elite is back. So after the league phase ends next week, it will be the round of 16 that gets underway, and then we have the grand finale, when the quarterfinals, the semi-finals and the final take place in a centralized competition that will be held in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, which is where the champions will be crowned, and who will be following the side that lifted the trophy on home soil effectively last year, Al Ali of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. West meeting East in the knockout stages, of course. This is when the 2 separate regions get to finally lock horns with one another in those knockout battles. Prior to that, though, 2 match days in the league stage to go. Sharjah, on the left of your screens here, their skipper Shaheen Abdallah Al-Mazmi. To his left, but the screen's right, Benjamin Bourigeaud, the skipper, wearing 19 in blue of Al Duhail, who will be hoping that home form can continue to give them the victories that they have found so hard to come by in this campaign. Just the 2 wins, as said, and they came in back-to-back home wins in November for Al Duhail against Shabab Al Ali and Al Ittihad as well, seeing off the Saudis in impressive fashion with a 4-2 victory. It wasn't so good last time around, going down by 2-1 against Tractor, including a stoppage time winner from the side from the Islamic Republic of Iran. And that was their last game in December for Al Duhail. As for Sharjah, well, they also come into this game off the back of a defeat, beaten at home by Al Hilal in mid-December. unlike their opponents, though. They have won on the road, and they'll be hoping to do so again as the teams come out. Al Duhail in blue, and the visitors today in white.
There's Abdul Bulbina wearing 77, one of the danger men in this Al Duhail team, and a young man who's lit up the Asian Champions League Qatari division since arriving at the club last year. He's 22 years of age, Bulbina. So the formalities almost over, and the show can begin to unveil. The referee today, Kim Jeong-hyuk from Korea Republic. As we see the lineup for Al Duhail, 5 changes to the side that lost to Tractor last time around. Coming into the side, the likes of Salah in goal, Al-Wari at fullback, Boubakary Soumaré siding from Leicester City, and in the middle of the park, Luis and Bulbina, who was absent last time around because he was on Africa Cup of Nations duty in Morocco with his nation Algeria. Confirmation of the officials today, as we get to see how Sharjah will be lining up today. Even more changes for them from the side that were defeated on their last outing at home to Al Hilal. 7-0. Leandrinho coming in, Katanich at the back, Poblete in midfield, where he's joined by the likes of Luan Pereira, Firaz Benlabi, and a new man up top, Mateus Saldana, who only joined the club last week on loan. And he will shoulder the responsibility of finding the goals at this vital stage of the season. It very much looked like Sami Trabelsi, the recent coach of Tunisia, watching on from the stands. And that's Jose Morais in the suit, the coach of Sharjah. So some last minute fine-tuning and preparations as Jamel Belmadi, the Algerian in charge of Al Duhail, offers the pleasantries to his counterpart before the serious action can begin. Well, there is the new man, Sardania. So we are underway on match day 7 as Al Duhail, playing from left to right in all blue, host Sharjah. Both sides on 7 points, both sides looking for their 3rd win of the campaign. Both sides just
clinging on to their place in the knockout phase. By a very slender thread. Well, that's an early effort, very, very early from Fares Benabi. He's pretty certain it took a deflection, I must just say. I agree with him. But the decision hasn't come his way. Just a little touch of Jean-Charles Castelletto, the central defender for Duhail. Well, if he's still complaining, you can blame him, because that was pretty clear. However, the decision not having gone the Tunisians' way. Well, this is just the third ever meeting between these sides, and in the previous two, each team has managed to come away with victory. That was in the 2020 Champions League group phase. The precursor, of course, to the Champions League Elite. Both sides won their nominal home games. It was 2-1 to Al Duhail at home, genuinely at home, because the matches were both played in Doha, because they were taking place during coronavirus-related restrictions. And then Sharjah also winning, as said, their, in inverted commas, home game by 4-2. And there's José Morais, been in charge only since December. Took charge just a few days before match day 6, when he would have watched his side beaten by Al Hilal, who have cruised through the Western region. Will both these sides be able to join them? We'll be finding out not just over the next 90 minutes, but next week as well. Well, an early run looking straight down the middle. Bourigeau, who offers his encouragement to Sultan Al-Breik, who deliver the long diagonal from the fullback position. Well, José Morais, possibly most famous for the work he did for Jose Mourinho, for whom he was an assistant for many years at Real Madrid, Chelsea, Inter Milan. He has, of course, ploughed his own course since a couple of K-League titles in the Republic of Korea. Also winning leagues in Saudi Arabia and Tunisia. A keen football brain. Will he be able to put it to good effect with Sharjah? That's a lovely ball round the corner. Edmilson Jr. on the charge. Delivery into the area, cannot reach Bulbina or Soumare, who was just ghosting in. Majid Suro with the clearance. And here's Edmilson Jr. again. And he's managed to win inside a corner, despite Rafael Pereira trying to ensure it didn't get through to Christophe Piatek. So jostling and pushing as you might expect, and the referee just having a little word as well to ensure that he's happy. And Castelletto, well, you don't want to be wagging your finger at the referee. He was just trying to ensure, well, let's see, it was Castelletto close to Piatek, and then that hands pushed forward unwisely by the captain of Sharjah. You do not want to be doing that, Shaheen Abdul Rahman. Needs to be mindful. And that is certainly going to be a tussle worth keeping an eye on. Well, he's hugely experienced, Shaheen. And you wouldn't be expecting him to get involved in such trifles. In it comes, and just wide. Well, it was Castelletto who managed to get the header away, holding his ground quite literally with the challenges coming in. Look at that. Managed to get good contact on it, but unable to guide it. And well, in the opening 5-6 minutes, a chance at either end for both these sides. Castelletto in the air, replying to that early effort from Betlami in the very first minute of the game. Here is Castelletto, Cameroon international. Now worry into Edmilson Jr. No worry. Castelletto again. As they look for the switch of play and trying to get in Bulbina. Well, at the end of match day 6, Bulbina was the top scorer in the Champions League Elite with 5, 3 of them coming in a stunning display by the youngster against Al Ittihad. Well, he fired home a very captivating hat-trick. He also scored in the playoff round as Al Duhail beat Sepahan, the Iranians, a fair while back now, but that was necessary to make it into the 12-team Western League phase. And he has certainly caught the eye. That's nicely played. Inside, Sadania goes down. Play on, says the referee. Shaheen out wide. Little touch around the corner, and then Urijo trying to get in. Bulbina, who is in behind. Still Bulbina, firing at goal. And unable on this occasion to produce some of the unerring finishes that he is becoming known for. Flagged offside as any cases, you can see. Very tight decision, but it went the way of the visiting side. Well held up, and forward Sharjah come. Good strength again into Saldania. Sadania with the strike. Salah with the save. Well, he got his shot away well, did the new boy, and he might get another opportunity here. Salah again with the block. As Sharjah tried to apply some pressure in the early moments of this game. Sumari now just trying to diffuse the situation by rolling it back to Salah, recently back from injury. Missed the early part of the season. Al Duhail goalkeeper, after having surgery to correct his anterior muscle. 4 months of the season that he was missing, but he is back now. Urijo now to Edmilson Jr., and he's got options to his right if he wants to use them. He doesn't. He's thinking about the strike. Edmilson Jr. well, not convincingly saved, and it's in the back of the net, but the joy is short-lived for Al Duhail because Bulbina was offside. A fairly instant decision. The strike from Edmilson.
brilliantly handled, and then look at that, the pass backwards off the Duhail player and into Bulbina, and it stays goalless, but a lively beginning to a game that both teams desperately want to take all 3 points from. Who knows if they'll settle for the draw, but the last thing they want to do is come away empty-handed today. No worry down the line. And Milson Jr. into Duhail, nicely played. It's all about the delivery from here. Lovely dink, out to the back sticks, missed by Soumaré. Well, that was superbly played. And the opportunity for Soumaré, the former Leicester man, and he just couldn't touch it in a tight angle, admittedly. Look at that. Did well to reach it in the end, Soumaré. I think Edmilson, well, was he going for goal himself? Did he mean to play it across? Either way. Soumaré against the post just moments after Bulbina had the ball in the back of the Sharjah net. Something of a charmed life at present. Igor Coronado just digging it out. Here he is again, and losing it on this occasion to Bulbina, who loses his footing. Sharjah. Geronimo Poblete back into Sharjah. You can see what he was trying to do, the execution not correct. Juan Pereira, I'm assuming, was the intended target on the left-hand flank for Sharjah. And Milson Jr. again. No worry. And again for Al Worry, who scored in midweek as Al Duhail warmed up for this game with a disappointing 2-1 defeat in the league against Salal, who, well, the bottom side of the table as Soumaré has clipped. And what a game it was against Salal, because just 6 minutes in, Luis saw red, sent off for a reckless challenge, and then they hadn't even got to half-time, Al Duhail, before they also lost. Duhail also sent off. Despite that, in the second half, they managed to level matters up at 1-1, Al Duhail, before losing to a late goal. Here's Edmilson Jr. with the strike, and he fails to hit the target. The Qatar international loves to shoot from distance, has fired home from that sort of area in this campaign already. Stunning strike against Shabab Al-Ali on match day 4 from Edmilson Jr. Very much laying the platform for that 4-1 win for Al Duhail. Their biggest of this campaign so far. Handball, as you can see, from Al Worry. Juan Pereira trying to make sure that officials didn't miss it. Well, Sardania just coming off second best against the mild physicality, let's say, or strength or push of Castelletto. 26 years of age, the new man. He has joined on loan from Al Wazl, fellow UAE Pro League side, where he has scored no goals in his 10 appearances in the league this season. Nonetheless, Sharjah saw enough to bring him in. Go direct to Sardania, who is
back up on his feet. Castelletto rise the challenge. Not Castelletto, excuse me, Ibrahim Bamba it was. To the byline they go. And a corner as well. Well, that's good wing play. Trying to get in behind the Al Duhail defence and firmly stopped as well. So an opportunity for Sharjah to push the big men forward from the back. We saw Al Duhail threatened from a corner through Castelletto. Can Sharjah emulate them? In it comes, well, not convincingly dealt with again at the back. This time by Al Duhail. Infringement spotted. But let's have a look here. Piotr went up and missed it. Shaheen was in or thereabouts. You can see Salah blocked by the bodies, and that prevented him from getting close. And Shaheen got contact, just not enough on it. Over the top to Edmilson Jr., driving forward, just muscling off Saror. And then he wins his side in another corner, but he looks spent already. We're barely past the quarter-hour mark. The wrong side of 30 now, Edmilson Jr. 31. And I hope they're enjoying what they're watching. It's been a lively start so far. Wilbina waits, calm amidst all the hustle and bustle going on behind him. The train of Simare, Piotr, Castelletto, which Rafael is not part of, as Castelletto is pointing out to him. Well, this is certainly going to be worth keeping an eye on. It's like a rugby scrum at times. Burijo with the delivery, but headed away. Now the near post and all the pushing and shoving coming to absolutely nothing in there. Ibrahim Bamba. All the way back to Salah. Burijo just trying to open it up to either Piotr and Edmilson Jr., but far too much on it and splitting both of them in truth. Well, he's often animated, Belmadi. He certainly doesn't want to get on the wrong side of him either. He doesn't wear his frustration or anger lightly. 49 years of age now, the former Algeria international. His third spell in charge of Al Duhail. Won the league on his first time in charge, and then his second. Free kick, Piotr, the man brought down. And a yellow card being shown to Shaheen. My reckoning that means that Shaheen has his third yellow of the league phase, and yes, you can see confirmation will be missing the all-important match day 8 for Sharjah as they host Asaf of Uzbekistan on home soil next week. There are a few players on 2 yellow cards elsewhere on the pitch as well, Luan Pereira being one of them. Let's have a look at the free kick. Burijo well, dreaming of glory and really only troubling those in the stands. Oh, but then Al Hassani between the posts for Sharjah. So Luan Pereira, as mentioned, also on 2 yellows. So's Ibrahima Bamba for Al Duhail. And sitting on the substitutes bench for Al Duhail, Yusuf Ayman as well. We'll just have to wait and see whether he comes on. Here is Bamba. Coronado. Sumare. And Castellotto back into Salah. Bamba. With Milson Jr. instantly gets his head up to look ahead, instead plays it to Al-Wari. Brought down, and just for a moment it looks as though there might be no decision. In the end, it has come his way. Qatar international just clearly pulled by Leandrinho. Another new signing for Sharjah, joined last month. The Brazil under-20 international Leandrinho, just 20 years of age. Saldana cannot hold on to it. And Salah will look at Piotek, and Bulbina managed to get away. He's got 2 coming up towards him. Drops the shoulder. Bulbina looking for Milson Jr. and just getting too much on it. A good run in from the flanks from both Bulbina and Milson Jr. Shaheen. Worked forward by Sharjah, but then cut out as Al Duhail. Duhail just made life difficult for them at the back. Good pressing. Real scrap in there between Saldana and Castelletto, and Castelletto looking very fired up for this, the 31-year-old. Bamba. Al-Wari does well to keep it in. Coronado wins it back for Sharjah. Suror, here's Coronado again. Suror down, so too the Polish international Krzysztof Piotek. Well, you can see the grimace as he fell to the floor. Another who brings danger, Piotek. 3 goals in the league phase, 1 as well in the playoffs. And of course, a hugely successful period in European football as well. This is first foray outside Europe. Piotek having joined at the start of the season. Burijo spreading it out. Now break. Bulbina coming in. And Shaheen mopping up. Burijo. No worry. Edmilson. Thinking about the strike again, Edmilson, and he does strike, and he doesn't travel too far before Suror blocks it. Samari, good strength from him. And the throw it goes, Sharjah's way. Narrow, Katanic down on the floor and feeling the pain. Just got caught on the follow through. Now Samari ran on.
instantly. The 21-year-old going to wrap his foot. And you can see a little spin as well of the boot on his metatarsal area. Almost twisting in the force. And I suspect that might be on principle, whatever he's been saying, that Croatia under-21 international. He's back up on his feet and we're back underway as well. Edmilson. And again, looking for Piotek, who cannot control. Coronado. Sumare. Bit of space. And now for our breaker, bit of time. Bulbina. Sumare. Well, being forced backwards. Now Duhail as Sharjah press impressively. Well, they pick this up in the middle. They will now. They've won it back now. What will they do with it? Leandrinho. Nicely round the corner. That's a lovely little spin from Luan Pereira. Saldana overran it, and Castelletto came to the rescue for Al Duhail. Coronado again. And again, Coronado, a little bit more space now. Well, the idea was right, the delivery was not. Rurijo out to Edmilson, who's seen a lot of the ball in the opening half hour or so. Well, the flurry of chances have stopped coming out Duhail's way for now. Space for Rurijo, and he's trying to pick out somebody in the middle. You can see his head up, and Shahid, mild panic as the ball bouncing here and there, and just wanted to get it away. Luis. Bulbina. Samari with the turn, and just too forceful with the pass. Coronado surrounded by blue shirts and felled ultimately unfairly by Edmilson. Igor Coronado in his second spell at Sharjah. His first was very successful, as he was named the best foreign player when he managed to bring the league back to the club in 2018-2019, so ending a 3-decade drought for Sharjah when it came to the very top title in the UAE. He was then very impressive in their 2020 Champions League run. Their first at the top table of Asian football for
15 years or so. They've been back far more regularly since, of course. Bamba just inviting Outbreak to make some ground down the left-hand side. And he waits for options. Samari provides one. And Samari wins the throw. There is Ben Labi with the touch out. Burijo. Samari. Surur with the clearance. Half-hearted appeals from the Al Duhail players for something more than that, but more in hope than expectation. That's not a conclusive angle. And then Samari. Well, he is still down on the floor and saying he was caught, and he was certainly trod on his foot. Had the player taken the ball before he made contact with Samari's boot. Let's have a look here. I suspect he had done. Well, Kim Jong-hyuk, unconvinced by the argument presented to him by the Duhail players. Well, his side are unbeaten so far at home in this league phase in the Champions League Elite. On top of the victories against Al Ittihad and Shabab Al Ali, they started against Al Ali with a 2-2 draw on match day 2. Every time they've gone on the road, Al Duhail, they have lost, and that doesn't bode particularly well for their final game on match day 8 next week against Al Shorta in Iraq. Now break into Samari. Rubina can't get anything on it. And then Burijo coming in very late from behind as well. Coronado clearly caught. Al-Hassani. That's miscontrolled amidst the tussling between Coronado and Awari. Qatar international once again. Piatek has to come very, very deep. He's looking for options as well. You could see he wanted to release it, but he just couldn't, and he's explaining that he just wanted a little bit more movement. Rafael holding him back. Piatek trying to play around the corner. Al Duhail will have the throw here. Little nutmeg from Worry through Luan Pereira. Now break also waiting for movement ahead of him. Nielsen, so much space in the early phases, but they've tightened up at the back. Sharjah and just not allowing Al Duhail those big gaps that we saw as the game got underway. Luis caught by Luan Pereira. Now Worry, that looks a decent delivery. Shaheen meets it away. Bulbina picking it up. Samari to his left if he wants to use him. Still Bulbina. Bulbina, a goal! And Bulbina into the side netting. Took a little deflection on its way through. And that's the power he's got. And he got it with both feet. And that's the problem for defenders. Because when he cuts inside, his right can deliver thunderbolts, as we saw at the Africa Cup of Nations with this sensational winning goal for Algeria against the Democratic Republic of Congo in the round of 16. That was with his right, and we've seen what he can do with his left as well. A real threat on that left flank, Bulbina. There's Milson on the other, no lesser danger. In swinger, but straight to Adel Al-Hassani. Saldana on the charge. Only one in the middle for him to aim at. And it's very good footwork, and look at the pass from Saldana, that's beautiful. Luan Pereira down in the area. Penalty awarded to the visitors. And that was all largely thanks to the beautiful no-look pass from Mateus Saldana, the new man at Sharjah. Deceived everybody, but Luan Pereira, who was very alert to the pass, seized upon it. Well, he kept going, and then look at that. Absolutely brilliant. And Sharjah's number 11. Clearly clipped by Salah. There you go. And the penalty. Give it to the visiting side. Just how crucial can this be? Well, they're arguing. He's saying that Salah took the ball and not the foot of Luan Pereira. Different angles, let's be honest, suggest different things. From one, it very much looks like there was contact on the foot and not on the ball, and from another, it looks the other way around. Igor Coronado has the ball in his hand as he waits to see if he can give Sharjah the lead. Check the offside, please. You can hear one of the instructions coming to the referee from the players. I think it was Castelletto who making that suggestion.
But we already checked. Yeah, it's clear penalty. So now, if you see the camera, we are checking everything. Yes, so, okay, guys.
So a big moment in the bid for both these teams to stay in contention for the round of 16. And it's Sharjah and then Igor Coronado with the opportunity to take the lead in this vital game, which they do. And he does, sending Salah the wrong way from the spot. And Coronado, as half-time nears, gives Sharjah the all-important lead, his second goal of this Champions League Elite campaign. And just how important will it be? Hop, skip and a jump and a fist pump to boot as well, as he just rolled it into the side netting. And that is what it means. And Sharjah can expect some resistance now from the home side. They don't get too many, the visitors. They had one goal from their previous 4 games, and that was just enough to beat Al Ahly, the defending champions, no less, and only their second, well, excuse me, not their second, their first defeat in 22 Champions League and Champions League Elite games. Yellow card now going to the second member of the defensive unit for Sharjah. And Raphael, well, if not for the challenge just now, the accumulation of fouls that we've seen from him, such as the shirt holding. It's no real surprise that he's gone into the notebook for that dragging down of Piątek. I think those faces tell their own story. They missed out on the Asian places last season, did Duhail. They are looking as though they're going to be in the league. They missed out on that places the season before, so absent from Asian inter-club competition last season. And they may well be again next season, unless they improve their domestic form, meaning the onus is on them to keep this campaign going as long as they can. Samari unable to get over that delivery. And he's a man who looks as though he's got a lot on his mind. Chibel Balmadi turns 50 next month. Flicked on by Juan Pereira. Samari. Bamba. Now break. Bilbina skips inside in this court. Poblete bringing the Algerian down. Three minutes of additional time. Into the middle from Urijo. Well dealt with by Raphael. Likes to ask questions of the defences with his balls into the area. The Frenchman, Urijo. Often delivered with real pace as well. Here he is again. Now worry. Goes very, very deep. Bilbina will pick this up. Piątek in the middle if he can find him. Well, it's over everyone for now. And Luan Pereira Well, he's done very well to get that away, but then he gives it away. And goes to ground in the hope of persuading the referee to blow in his favour, which has happened. Awari seemingly having just talked himself into a caution. Clear block on Luan Pereira. Unclear what he can be complaining about. Well, he may well be ruining some of those early missed opportunities for his side, but they showed that they can get in behind. They just need to start converting and possibly playing in Piatek, who brings the expertise in front of goal, who is yet to be given any opportunity to attack Hassani's net. Murray neatly inside into the third and final minute of the 3 added on. Deep cross in, Castelletto coming in from the back. Break, excuse me, it was. Well, another teasing deep delivery from Edmilson Jr. Nice bend on it as well. Really get one more opportunity in the time left in the half. Rubichud goes down. And another yellow. This time it's Surur. For the challenge on Awari. Clear tug, even if a brief one, from the 28-year-old. That's now his second yellow of the league phase. One of a handful of players who spent many years with Sharjah. Surur, nearly a decade with the senior team after coming up through the youth academy. Final opportunity for Al Duhail in the half, and that's an outstanding piece of defending from Maro Katanic. And there goes the half-time whistle, and it's a half where Al Duhail, the Qataris at home, started oh so well. Jean-Charles Castelletto putting over a header. Adil Bulbina having the ball in the net, only for it to be disallowed for offside. Boubakary Soumaré also going close, but ultimately it was the visitors who found the back of the net. Igor Coronado from the penalty spot after Luan Pereira was fouled by Al Duhail goalkeeper Salah Zakaria, which means that at the break-in Doha, it is Al Duhail 0, Sharjah 1. You may.
Okay. World's best airline for a record 9th time, flying high as the champions of the sky, and this year even higher. Best airline in the Middle East, world's best business class lounge, and yes, still a Skytrax 5-star airline. That's a lot of bests, but none of it happens without the best passengers. Thank you for
going to be talking
and for voting for us. We go further because of you.
Everyone's crazy about football. But boxing, that's a never-ending game of tangles. One wrong move, game over. Tennis, a marathon with a racket. When it goes wrong, you become your own worst enemy. I came for football, I stay for more.
Football teaches us how to win, as well as how to accept defeat gracefully. Then go on to do our best in the next game. Will this trail boys?
One, two, three, four.
The AFC has reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining the highest officiating standards by continuing the implementation of the video assistant referee VAR system across its club competitions. The purpose of the VAR will be to rectify clear and obvious mistakes in match-changing situations based on the principles and philosophy of the laws of the game.
You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay.
That works for me.
It's our responsibility to protect the game.
There's nothing we can't do.
Say no to doping.
So the team's back out on the pitch and the officials as well. And he has passed on his words of wisdom in the dressing room. So to Jose Morais of Sharjah. What can Al Duhail change in the second period? Sharjah having weathered a mini storm of sorts from the hosts before finding the goal late on. Igor Coronado from the penalty spot, in case you're joining us late, after Luan Pereira was fouled, clipped by Salah Zakaria, the goalkeeper for Duhail, after a quite brilliant bit of play from Mateus Saldanha, the Brazilian on loan at Sharjah, who has just joined in the last week. So just waiting for the signal, and then we will be back underway. So Sharjah in all white, kicking us off and playing from left to right. Al Duhail, the onus very much on them to find a way back into this game. A reminder that both Al Duhail and Sharjah started their game on 7 points, and both of them occupying 7th and 8th spots in the 12-team table. The top 8 going through to the round of 16. The bottom 4, of course, missing out. And with Sharjah winning, that's going to be pushing Al Duhail down, and Al Gharafa and Al Saad, who are both within 2 points of Al Duhail at the start of proceedings today. Very capable of catching them up, and Al Saad, a team that are on the rise after the appointment of Roberto Mancini as coach in November, and he has risen them up the Qatar Sports League table, which they now lead 12 points ahead of Jamal Belmadi's side. Bulbina. Nicely played back into Bulbina. Space here. Urijo opts to play it to the right-hand side, and into the middle it comes, and on the volley. Well, it was going to be spectacular if it had come off, and we have come to expect the spectacular from Adil Bulbina. On this occasion, not the connection he was after. The man who was snapped up after 20 goals in just 27 league games for his Algerian club Paradou last season. Paradou, one of the best academies in Algeria,
brings through a fair number of players, and Bilbina the latest to come out of their supply chain. Rafael. And gets it back, Rafael. One of three Sharjah players on it. Yellow from the first half. As Piatek tries his luck from distance. Working through the lines very nicely here, Sharjah. Well, this is a lovely flowing mood. Saldana coming in off the right flank. Options, Coronado. Well, he didn't take the right one in the end, and that was a really promising move. Well, he's having a go with some of his teammates, but I'm afraid to say I think it was the 33-year-old who made the poor decision with his play. So many options, and a fair few players in white shirts in the area. And Coronado unable or unwilling to find any of them. Bamba out to our break. Lots of space for Worry, and he just goes down the line early and waywardly. Nielsen unable to keep it. Nicely played into space. Marrow needs a bit of support. And then tries the percentages and tries to win the corner, and he's done exactly what he wanted to do. The youngster, well, you wouldn't know it, but he didn't really have too many options, and the corner was just about the best he could do. The King, that is the nickname of Sharjah. Coronado with the delivery, better in. Well, it was Marrow who got ahead on it, and he just couldn't get a full-blooded connection. Cushions at the heather rather than attacking it. And it just glanced wide. Piatek also possibly feeding a glance. 30 years of age now. Joined in June after a couple of seasons in Turkey, and nearly 50 goals for Başakşehir. But as said before, we've yet to see him in front of goal in this game. Will that change in the 40 minutes or so that remain? Coolly played in the back from Sharjah. Under a bit of pressure. And they choose to let their football do the talking. Here's Saldana. He goes down under the challenge from Bamba. And looking to see if the decision came and followed as well. It didn't. Edmilson. Space now for Awari. When he had time to deliver the cross and chose not to. And the opportunity goes. And the break is on. Coronado looking for Saldana. He'd have to have a jet back on to have got that one. Bilbina again. Options here, Sumari. Well, good strike in it. Cannoned into Sirur. He stays down on the floor and given it's a blow to his head. Kim Jong-hyuk with a little option, but stop play. Powerful strike from Sumari.
He started the campaign on the bench, Majid Shurur, but he's come into the side in recent times, playing the last 4, including this one. And that's largely following the change of coach with Jose Moraes coming in. Well, that almost went all the way through. Bulbina will try and keep this alive. And off he goes again. Goes past one into Samare. Do like to hit it from distance. Now Duhail, well, that's a decent delivery in. An important header away from Maro. Samare. Bulbina. Piatek in the middle, but he's run out of ground in the end. Adil Bulbina. And that is a pained expression on the face of Jamal Bilbadi. He was asked before the game what his expectations were for it. Julian Lopetegui among those watching on. And Jamal Bilbadi gave a one-word answer to the question, which was victory. Was what he expected from this game for his side. They are going to really have to turn things around, and soon. Bamba. We'll be getting to know Castelletto very well. Castelletto having joined in July. Regular. Since Edmilson trying to play it into the middle, cut out again by Rafael. Burijo. Edmilson. Delivery comes in again and takes a deflection, goes behind. And that'll be a corner to the home side. Leandrinho feeling the impact. Well, they threatened early on in the game when Castelletto headed wide. And that was their best they've done with their 4 previous corners. Outswinger on this occasion. Shaheen with a really good and brave header away. Bulbina being bugged from behind by Poblete. And then a little bit of afters between Bulbina and the Argentine, and it's Geronimo Poblete for that foul, who goes into the notebook, the 4th Sharjah player to be booked. Well, way forward, nicely controlled by Edmilson, into the middle, over Piatek, and calmly back to Al Hossani by Maro, who was the coolest man in the stadium. Nice little layoff. Coronado just skipping through, unable to hold on to it. Switch of play out to Bulbina on this near side. Maro behind him. Now break. Samare. Still Samare. No foul from Sardania, says the referee. And then I think the ball hitting the man in the middle. penalty hitting the left leg of Kim Jong-hyuk. Well, he was speaking before the game, Jamal Belmadi, and ahead of the league game in midweek, as well as about the injury crisis at Al Duhail and how he's never known anything like it. Circumstances I'm experiencing for the first time in my coaching career. I have never faced anything like this, even as a player. Never such a large number of key players, absent players who directly impact the team's performance. And he invited people to have a look at his team's lineups and squads and the youngsters on the bench, and he's got exactly that again today. A couple of teenagers, a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old, and that's because some key men are absent, and clearly he very much feels it is holding his side back. He brought in a host of players at the start of the season, but a fair few missing. Some notable names: Marco Verratti, amongst them Tuta, the former Eintracht Frankfurt defender. Players who, of course, could make a difference, but I'm sure he'll still believe he sent out a side good enough to get the job done against the Champions League 2 holders today. Sharjah's first ever continental silverware coming last season as Bulbina tries to play it past Maro, who stands his ground well. It's been a really interesting battle between those two. A pull on the shoulder, the play goes on. Benabi skipping away. Just one in the middle to Amat, and hasn't he done well? And the ball just drifting wide. Well, superb wing play down the right-hand side from Benabi. And the ball into Luan Pereira, who rose and met it and just could not guide it inside the near post. Looked as if he had done everything right, especially with Salah beaten it. Al Duhail skipper Bourigeaud as well. Well, that is by far and away the best opportunity of the second period for either side, but it stays 1-0 to Sharjah. Here's Piotek. A break out to Bulbina. Sumare gently wafts it over to the right-hand flank. Four in the middle, awaiting the cross, which does come. Maro with the header away. Al Duhail will go again. Bourigeaud just trying to lift it over his opposite number. Saldana, a little bit more invention from him, as you might expect from a Brazilian. You saw that delicious pass that played in Juan Pereira for the incident that led to the goal and the penalty. Bourigeaud, lovely searching pass. Now to Edmilson Jr. Piotek to Amat in the middle. Well, Bulbina is there again, but for the second time in the game. He's got the ball in the net and it will be disallowed because of an offside infringement. And that one, I think, pretty simple, because he was quite a long way off. I mean, not just a mile, but let's call it 2 or 3. He surely must have known. He was looking all the way along the line, and he must have been aware that there was no one around him. Nonetheless, a little look at the linesman would indicate that there was some hope on Bulbina's part. Well, as you saw the statistic there, 3 offsides, and 2 of them have ended with Al Duhail and Bulbina firing home, but to no effect. Here's our break. We went to the FIFA Arab Cup with Qatar in December. No worry. Milson again, so much still going through him. Luan Pereira. Well, almost getting the weight white for the run through from Ben Arbi. Saldana has the confidence to go alone and take on his opposite man, and he's got that strength as well to ride the challenges. He's done him again on toast now. What about the delivery? Oh, it's brilliant. Luan Pereira denied. Super little inside flick from him after more trickery from Saldana. And Salah very, very fortunate that the attempt from Luan Pereira was just straight at him. Well, Luan Pereira causing no end of problems. Born in Brazil but naturalized as an Emirati and been representing the UAE since March of last year. The man who had won youth caps at Brazil level. And his movement, coupled with that of Saldana, keeping the Al Duhail defence very much on their toes. Opportunity here for the home side. Al Duhail, striker goal from Milson. Well, he opened it up and chose not to use anyone inside, fancying himself to have the ability to hit the target. And I think you can see from his reaction how disappointed he is that he failed to do so. Piatek in the middle, once again just waiting and waiting for crosses that don't always come his way. When he didn't need to smack the cover off it, quite possibly at Milson Jr., who just guided in. And of course, he had the beating of Al Hassani. So Luiz is off. Bulbina again up against Marrow. Oh, that is a crunching challenge in the middle of the park on Edmilson. And that's really well played again by Saldana. And you know he's just going to keep going. And to the left-hand side, striker, goal, and just over Salah's crossbar, but he was watching it all the way from Coronado. Oh, lacked the precision and the power. It is his goal still that is the difference. Caio Lucas getting ready to come on for the visitors. Saldana being gripped for his own safety, not to fall off. Little breather. So he is off, and on comes Caio. Named as the MVP for last season's Champions League 2 campaign, the 31-year-old. He made 4 goals, he scored another 5.
Just the one so far in this campaign, where he had always been a starter whenever he had played, not today. Well, he's going to have to provide a lot of running as well to match Duhail Sardania's very impressive first Champions League Elite game for Sharjah. Milson trying to find a way around Poblete. Brazilian, even though he is, of course, representing his Middle Eastern nation now, Qatar, against an Argentine. And a pull from Poblete to prevent Milson Jr. getting away. Been playing for Qatar since 2024, the winger. Brazilian roots, born in Belgium though, where his dad, also called Edmilson, played his league football. Burijo. Well, he's going to have another chance to do it again after Caio getting ahead bravely to a well-struck ball. Just over 20 minutes. And Piatek does finally get a chance in front of goal, and that's what he's had to feed on all game. Rosewell trying to steer it into that bottom right-hand corner. Unable to do so, but he has at least had something of an opportunity in this game. Leandrinho. Loose, and Bamba picks it up, but only giving it straight back. Caio, still Caio, and trying to play it back into him. Unable to do so, Bamba getting a touch. Urbina into Burijo. That's a lovely raking pass. Lots of space on this right hand. Oh, well, he cannot find Piatek, and that's a real disappointment. Edmilson again. Well, that's a brilliant play from Edmilson. I think he's suggesting there might be a yellow card that should be going to his opponent. As is our break. Showed real desire and determination, and ultimately undone by, well, one illegal challenge too many. Ismail Mahamadou is the man who's come on for Luis. And he is now down on the floor, that 35-year-old. Very experienced figure in Qatari football. Well over 80 caps for Qatar. Captained the side at the Asian Cup a couple of years ago. Missed the Asian Cup success of 2019 with a broken leg despite all that time playing. Beautiful delivery into the area, but headed away by Surur. Edmilson on the volley, and Edmilson wide. Well, shot after shot after shot from Edmilson, and very few of them forcing Al Hassani into action. He does have 2 goals, as said, and 3 assists, but we've not seen too much of the assist side of his game, Edmilson. Nor Bulbina. Coronado.
again. That's a lovely ball round the corner from Coronado, and that's delightful as well. Orchestrating move after move. Well, Caio had ghosted into an offside position. Just went a fraction early. Piatek, and still Piatek, he does look for Bulbina. Bulbina goes down, clipped, another penalty, and this time it goes Al Duhail's way. Well, Piatek, like some of his colleagues, instantly trying to play in one of his teammates. Bulbina just caught Rafael, the player coming in, and there he is, just coming in from behind him. Getting the legs of Bulbina in the eyes of the referee. And nothing on the ball, and you can see, I think it was the left foot of Rafael onto the right foot, there you go, of Bulbina, bringing down the Algerian. And in a game that neither side want to lose, Al Duhail now have their own opportunity from the penalty spot to draw level. Well, Bulbina very much wants to take it. Bourigeaud, the skipper, is there. Bourigeaud took a penalty the last time that they played against Tractor. VAR, as you can see, checking the spot kick. But in the meantime, the conversation about who will take the penalty should it stand goes on. Well, this increases the pressure. Bourigeaud, if he's the skipper, should just take authority here and tell Bulbina surely that it is his kick. They are still arguing, and at some point you would have thought that a coach has to get involved as well. Jamel Belmadi. Al Hassani being ushered back to his line as the check goes on. And to the screen he goes. Well, this doesn't always end in the decision that those who want the penalty would have wanted. Let's have a look. Rafael coming in from behind is not an easy one for the official. It's whether there's a tangling of legs, and if you go back a bit and just hear the knee of Rafael going in, is it to the back of the leg of Bulbina? And that may well be Brawl, the winger there. And that challenge there, and then there's a little kick as well. Follow through rather than a kick, if you get me. And is the video evidence that Kim Jong-kyuk is seeing enough to change his on-field decision? No, you need really clear proof, and you could be watching this a while. It is important, and he does need to take his time, but he's made his decision. And what will it be? It is indeed the decision that he originally went with. And the penalty stands. And Al Duhail really need to convert this. Well, Shaheen continues the protests. the conversation, but after a check of the monitor, nothing is going to be changing from here. Bulbina has assumed the responsibility, possibly taken it, and he's been allowed to do so. Can he now convert and give his side a way back into this game and potentially into the round of 16 of the AFC Champions League Elite? Up steps Bulbina, whose penalty is saved by Al Hassani. Well, the inquest will go on in the Al Duhail dressing room about whether it was right that he took the penalty or not. But credit Al Hassani, who got down really well to his right-hand side to turn that around for a corner with a really good low save. Well, it's going to be retaken because was he off his line? Well, he was off his line. Did he come off his line too early? Well, there you go. Before the ball was taken, you can see that Al Hassani had come forward off his line. You have to have 1 foot on the line before the kick is taken or at the point of contact, which he clearly didn't, and so Al Duhail have got a second strike at goal. And it'll be very interesting to see who takes this one. It's going to be the man who's just entered the screen, Bulbina again. Gets a little word of encouragement. Belmadi feeling the pressure. No, you don't often get instant opportunity to make amends for what would be considered a poor penalty. And that is exactly what this young man has. This is the same routine he followed prior to the first attempt. Spare a thought for Al Hassani, the 36-year-old who got down so well to block the original effort. But Bulbina has a second chance from the spot. Stutters again, and this time drills it home and beats Al Hassani, who cannot keep it up, and Al Duhail are level. And the celebrations go on. And is that going to spark a dramatic final 10 minutes for the home side as they try to find the win they so desperately want? Frustration for Sharjah, especially after the kick was retaken. Trying to give him the eyes, looking to his right and planting the ball to his left. And even though Al Hassani went the right way once again on this occasion, the penalty too powerful and too precise, and Bulbina has his 6th goal of the league phase and his 7th overall in this Champions League Elite campaign. What a debut season it is for him. So Bourigeau has left the field as Belmadi uses that goal to make his change. I'll worry. Well, there is the man who's replaced Bourigeau. Tassin. Is that a card for Jamel Belmadi? Or for Tassin? Well, it seems to be for the substitute who was shown a yellow before he had even made it onto the pitch, which is impressive in its own regard, if not ideal, of course. Simare. And again. And then loose, Caio. And they can break here. Well, they could have done it. Juan Pereira had it. Managed to squeeze his pass through. Now break. Puts on the brakes. Here's Bulbina. He'll be thinking of finding a way to get all 3 points, of course. Edmilson Jr. Castelletto pushed very high, the central defender. That's a nice ball into the area, but over everybody. Good line, just a little bit too much elevation. A decent ball in from Awari, who takes the armband as well. Well, a reminder that on match day 8, Al Duhail go to Iraq to take on Al Sharjah, one of the weakest teams in the group, who started the round of match day 7 with just a point in their previous 6 games. Sharjah, well, they also face opponents who have found points hard to come by, even harder than Al Sharjah, and that's Nasaf of Uzbekistan, who prior to match day 7 had lost all 6 of their games in the league phase. So for those reasons, you'd imagine that both these sides will be confident of getting something on match day 8. We'll just have to wait and see how the league table looks after all the results on match day 7, before knowing exactly what they have to do. No worry, space out on this right-hand side for Tassin, just 19 years of age, one of those youngsters that Belmadi was talking about. Nice little turn into the middle, it comes up, goes Bulbina. Pietro didn't think it was coming through to him. Well, conceivably, one of the moments he was waiting for as the ball finally came the way of the Poland international. Caio picking the pass amidst massive bodies. Coronado winning the corner off Castelletto. Italian dad, Cameroonian mum, has the surname, and the national team he represents. So Vladimir Prijovic will be the man coming on. One-time Serbia youth international on for Benabi. Sharjah trying to see if they could nick this themselves at the death. They scored late on in their first period at just 4 minutes from the end of the half, and we're at an equivalent time this time around. In swinger, Castelletto goes up, so too Shaheen. We'll get another opportunity. And it comes in a free header, and he just cannot get the connection. What about that for a delivery, and what an impact that would have been for Prijovic. Just far too little contact on the ball. Shaheen and Castelletto getting it out to the corner taker. And look at that, free header ghosting in. And completely unmarked as well. And that was a golden opportunity for the UAE side to restore their lead. Ismail Mohammed charging forward in his presence enough to ensure that his side wins the corner. Siror conceding it. Can Never be too young to learn how to support. Outswinger comes in, Piątek with the header. And he just, the power came off it. Did well enough to meet it. And now there is space, but forced far too wide. And Pereira swinging this in. It's going to come all the way through. Opportunity here for Sharjah to win it at the end. And they cannot do so, because the shot just unable to be kept down by Leandrinho. But another opportunity for them. They're being quiet for much of the middle period of the second half, but they have been woken up by Duhail's equalising goal. Ismail Mohammed going down again, causing problems with his movement and his running, offering options, and they are helping his side as well. First a corner, and now after Rafael clattering into the back of the Al Duhail man, a free kick as well. Excuse me, not a free kick, it'll just be up in the drop ball. So all eyes on the fourth official and how much additional time is going to be added on at the end of the 90. Will there be time enough? Piątek. Tassin. Rafael turns it away. Sumare. And again. Now break. Bulbina wanting to the return. I think that's going to be a corner. Well, there was hesitation amongst the Sharjah players to 8 minutes of additional time to prevent that from going behind, which made me think twice, but looks very much a corner all the way. Well, that is plenty of time. Ed Milson Jr. with the delivery. In swinger, punched away by Al Hassani. And again, when it comes to the Qatar international, that's a really good ball in. And too much on it from Piątek. And it sails over. It just needed the slightest and gentlest of touches. And instead it got some proper contact. It just needed the glance or the flick. And that could have caused real problems for Al Hassani and Sharjah. Not been his day so far. Jose Moraes, who won a couple of trophies since his side last played in the tournament, the UAE Super Cup, the Qatar UAE Super Cup as well. Coronado, Caio, Luan Pereira, and beaten behind for yet another corner, this time by Salah, taking no chances as they just glided forward. Caio, delivery, good pace on it as well. And Castelletto, alert, and read it well and blocked it. Fizzed in. And I'm not entirely sure Luan Pereira was going for goal here. It didn't look like he was. It looked like he was trying to play it into Leandrinho. But instead, Salah had to be very alert there. Qatar international, as Usman Kamara is amongst those waiting to come on. Brings goals in his locker, that Guinean. Coronado with that the nice feet, and then a different 77 gets it away. Prijovic, nicely played, nicely turned and held on to as well. Coronado taking his time to give it back to Leandrinho. And then he just ran into his opposite man. Edmilson spinning and twisting. Ultimately buying himself a bit of space. Here's Al-Wari. Sumare. Bulbina into Piotek. Still Bulbina. Edmilson lets fly. And Edmilson just hits it straight into the Sharjah defender. And still Duhail come forward. Castelletto. Outbreak with the delivery. Straight into Maro, and Duhail will have to do it again. Maro feeling that one. Edmilson, Bulbina, looking for the 1-2. It didn't come. He felt he was impeded. Sharjah in possession and looking to counter themselves. Coronado careful with his pass, and Al-Wari just clearing up. Midway through the 8 minutes of additional time. Piotek. Edmilson. Bodies ghosting in. It's too deep from everybody. And Tassin was arriving. Just a little late. Ready as Amadou demands the utmost from his players. Belmadi. Led Algeria, of course, to the African Nations Cup title in 2019. And trying to lead Duhail to greater glories as well. So, Ousmane Camara comes on. Leandrinho. He's done pretty well on his Champions League Elite debut. Camara forward and Majid Rashid will slot into midfield, the base of it. Late changes designed to keep it tight and possibly have a chance if the break comes their way. Coronado. Just 2 minutes to go. Still Coronado, waiting for openings ahead of him. Is their time enough for one last chance? Well, that's behind the intended target. That's neat footwork from Tahir or Tassin. Ousmane Camara, 25 years of age, scored the winner against Al Ahly on match day 5. Late on, took his goal very, very well. He's going to have precious little time to have any equal opportunity. Outbreak needs to get this right into the middle. It goes over. Bulbina. Piotek goes up, headed away by Poblete. Edmilson, space on the right-hand side, and into Al-Wari, who floats it in deep. Up they go into the middle. Bamba, of all people, just
waiting to get on the end of that, the central defender. Well, they've gone back to their goal, but they've got about 15-20 seconds to try and find the goal that will win this game. Piotek on. And Shaheen deciding enough is enough and running the clock down by sending it all the way to the other end of the pitch. Now Wari choosing to go route one. We are past the 8 additional minutes. And the final whistle has blown. And it is a point apiece for Al Duhail and Sharjah in a game that neither side wanted to lose. They were desperate for the points. Instead, they've had to settle for one apiece. It was a game of 2 penalties. Igor Coronado firing home the first for the visitors shortly before half-time after Luan Pereira was fouled by the goalkeeper Salah Zakaria. And then at the other end, also late on in the second period, it was another goalkeeper, Adel Hassani, who, well, thought he had done enough to prevent Adil Bulbina from scoring from the penalty spot when he stooped low to his right to stop the save, but instead it had to be retaken. Bulbina fired home, and that is how it ended. And both these sides will move on to match day 8, believing they can squeeze in to the round of 16 still. It has ended in Doha. Al Duhail 1, Sharjah 1.
والله العظيم والله حاطين 3 مونيتور كل حاجه وانتوا منو